In a mix of rain and sleet, I returned home for the first time in a while. For some reason, everyone in the family was gathered. Even though my parents normally didn't speak much, while being a bit stiff, they smiled at me. The little sister who I always argue with made my favorite cream stew, and fried shrimp. Oh, okay. I was about to say ice cream, but cream stew sounds good. We sat next to each other in the kotatsu. They peeled mandarins for me. They were excessively kind. That was the impression it left. During this time, I had just a bit of a realization. Still left in the pocket that brand new license. That license, without giving rise to any particular value, might expire. Wow. Normally, a driving license expires in like between, I think it was 3 to 5 years, or something like that. I don't know. Don't trust me at that. While having stiff, unnatural smiles direct at me, calmly, visually, rather simple, I thought of that as if thinking of someone else. And who is that? January of 2005. Protagonist. The new year came, and I returned again to the hospital. For some reason, on that day, I didn't go on to the 4th floor, but instead to the conference room was made to go. There, with my father and a doctor, I heard many things, was made to listen. It was that thing called notification, probably. They had an extremely indirect way of speaking, but in the end, it seems like I was going to die. I see. That was why I was only able to reply with that. I couldn't find other words. From when I entered until I left the room, that was all that I said. Accepting my answers, the doctor moved the ballpoint pen in his hand. Most likely, it was the paperwork for the hospice. To the very end, he was very businesslike. My father was very much the same. Freaky bags. It was such a simple thing. That was my honest expression. But then, between the day and the next, I changed from the 4th to the 7th floor, from a 6-patient room to a single. Oh my god. Oh, that's bad. And also, this 7th floor itself was a bit different from other floors. For one thing, the floor was sparkling. The ceiling were much higher, much broader. Inside the room, it was extremely clean. The large windows seemed designed to let in lots of sunlight. However, the windows only opened a little bit. When I tried measuring, it was just slightly smaller than allowing your head to pass through. The other thing was the color of the ID bracelet changed. Since the day I was admitted, a I don't know how to pronounce that, bracelet was always wrapped around my wrist. Upon it was my name and blood type. That color had changed from blue to white. White is a really good symbolic for death. And for even though black is for, I guess, seems to be more of a death symbolic, white in some other countries is also death as well, but going to I guess a better place. And that's pretty bad. This story is already bad. I mean, not bad as in I guess it's way bad. Not like that, but it's like the story is beginning to have a very climatic entrance here, and it's really wow. It gives me the wow moment, I guess. Anyways, back to the story. High ceilings, white vein bracelet, window that could only open 15 centimeters or cm. I don't know what people call it. I call it centimeters. The day I was transferred to the 7th floor, it was when the boring New Year's program were still being broadcast. The time I met her for the first time was also at the very beginning of the year. I haven't even seen any people yet. Oh,
Narcissus.
Narcissus. There we go. Narcissus.
Fuyu.
I guess that's only the intro? The beginning? Wow. Oh, that's pretty bad. It's pretty mean. Okay. Across the hall, facing the nurse's station, was a lounge-like place. Left in the unpopular place were a number of sofas, folding chairs, and a large television. On that 28-inch CRT, a meaningless New Year's program was running. Watching that boring television with an equally bored expression was some girl. She had a small build and wore pink pajamas. Her waist had, just like I did, a white bracelet. What? Just like I did. I think that's a grammar mistake. It should be just like I have a white bracelet. But it says just like I did. It's not, there's no action going on. That's okay. Moving on. Hair that was to her lips left a impression. Hey you, is that interesting? There wasn't with any particular deep meaning, since there was no one around. I tried speaking to her profile.
別に
Not particular. That was all that she replied with. She didn't even turn towards me, even though I had spoken to her. Perhaps she had absolutely no interest in me. She continued to gaze at the television with a bored look. If it's boring, you don't have to watch it. As I thought, I also sat down in a folding chair. And sitting next to her, I gazed at the television. There was nothing else to do. Nothing else I could do. Quietly, we continued to gaze at the television. On the screen were the unusual New Year's program, pathetic impersonation, and parlor tricks. Occasionally, ringing out the host's stupidly high-pitched laugh. In a pure white sunlit room, in drier reverberate. Say, you. Suddenly, the girl spoke to me while still gazing at the television.
あなた何回目
You're on which time? Which time? What does that mean?
ここに7階に来たの
Coming here, the 7th floor. Sorry, I don't understand the meaning of the question.
そう初めてなんだね
I see, it's your first. It seems that at my inability to understand what she was saying, she had up and gotten satisfied with that judgment.
じゃあ他に誰もいないし私の役目だから
Obviously, she's saying that once you're in the 7th floor, it means you're about to die someday. Well, anyways. Well, there's no one else around here, so it's my duty. Duty?
そういうルールなの
There's that kind of rule. While nodding, she added that there is a rule for someone to teach people who first come here to the 7th floor. Even now, I understood nothing. I'm guessing there's only 2 people. If there's a rule and there's only those 2 in the, I guess, the lounge, I'm thinking that that once a person teaches this next person about what's going on, that person might pass on, and most likely a new person will come, and that person who who was already taught how to teach them everything, and it just gets into a cycle where it just never will stop. But that's just my prediction. I really don't know. I never played this before or actually look up to it, so but that would be really interesting to have that kind of I guess that theory. But I guess moving on again, getting sidetracked, sorry. And as if ignoring me, the girl slowly began speaking.
それじゃあ
Well,
よく聞いてね
listen closely, alright? I don't even know what she looks like. ... The girl's words came by 1 and 2s. They were slightly different compared to a doctor's speech that I had heard up until coming here. In that business-like speech from the doctor, it was said that this was a place to await the advancement of medicine. It was also called a place for healing the heart. Most likely, broadly speaking, that was probably correct. However, from what the girl said, that was a facade. This 7th floor was within the hospital, but was the only place that didn't give treatments. What? Yeah, it's a death sentence there. If they're not going to do some kind of medical treatment, wow, that's depressing. Simply a place to wait for the end of life. There you go. That's what the girl said. That's what I also felt, and had the same perception.
私2回目だから。
I'm on a second time, you see. Second time? What's that?
ここに来るの。
Coming to this place. And the girl taught me. This place called the 7th floor, to be here for the moment of admission, all the way until dying, first of all, apparently didn't happen.